if anyone's ever truly in the right place, but we do therapy here. Yes. Therapy. I'll be your therapist. Steve.
Hi. Stephen, I'm Julian.
Yeah.
You know.
I gathered that. So usually during the first therapy appointment, we go over informed consents. You know what you're getting yourself into. That sound good?
That's fine.
All right, great. So first, you have the right to know what's happening to you and to take control over the direction of therapy. If you ever want to approach something in a new way or have concerns about how I'm talking about something, bring it up. We can talk about it, figure something out. It's my intention for our process to be as collaborative as possible. Any questions about that?
Yeah. Like, what happens if you're saying something that makes me uncomfortable, but I'm too anxious to say anything?
Good question. I should be interested.
I guess if I've been quiet for a long time, or if I'm looking at the floor, you can just, like, ask what I'm doing.
Okay. I'll do that. Ready to move on?
Yeah.
You also have the right to shop around. Go to a different therapist or stop coming altogether. I don't know if you picked up on this already, but I'm not for everyone.
I did pick up on that, yeah.
Cool. We're on the same page now about payment. We charge your card on file 24 hours before an appointment, so if you want to reschedule or cancel, please do it more than 24 hours in advance.
Okay, I'll try to remember to do that.
Good, I know. The receptionist appreciates that.
Okay.
So, ready to start talking about what brought you into therapy?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So from what I saw in your intake paperwork, you're here for couples therapy. Is that true? Where's your partner?
Yeah, that's a joke. I'm solo polyamorous.
Solo polyamorous. What's that?
Basically, it means I'm dating myself.
I have no idea what you mean. That means I'm dating myself.
Yeah, maybe you are.
So what does being solo polyamorous mean to you?
It basically means, like, I'm polyamorous, but I'm my own, like, primary relationship. Like, I have lots of people in my life that I care about, but, like, we don't really worry about labels.
What do you mean by primary relationship?
Just like in the polyamorous community, like, your primary relationship is, like, the person that is, like, the most important. And, like, if I have anyone in my life that's the most important, it would probably be me, like, just because, like, I'm me.
Okay, that makes sense to me. It's a way of saying you're number one. You gotta put yourself first.
Yeah, I guess that's a pretty good description.
So Julia, what are you here to work on in your relationship with yourself?
Communication issues.
Having communication issues with yourself.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I get into these shouting matches with myself.
Like shouting out loud.
Sometimes it's out loud when I'm alone, but usually it's in my head. I'll say, like, I'm not good enough, or people don't like me for some reason, or that everything is pointless, or whatever, and I make myself feel like crap.
And what happens next?
I'll respond to myself saying, like, that's not true, shut up, you don't even know me like that, and then I'll say something I'll say something like, yeah, I do, like, why are you arguing with me? You suck. And then, like, you know, I respond to that, and it just keeps going back and forth, and the voices just get progressively louder.
Dude, the voice.
Yeah, they just get louder and louder. It's like I can't hear myself think, Doc.
You can call me Stephen.
Okay, I'll do that.
So it sounds like when you're arguing with yourself, you can't get a word in.
That's perfect.
Would you be willing to model your arguments with yourself in front of me so I know what this looks like? And I'll stop you when I hear something that sounds interesting and we can talk about it.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Do you have any puppets?
Why would I have any puppets?
So one of me could talk to, like, another one.
No, I don't have any puppets. Puppets are used for play therapy, something to do with kids. I don't deal with children. Can we not talk about my career using your hands to talk to yourself.
Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll take one of my shoes off and I'll wear it on my hand, so I'll have like a shoe personality and like a hand personality. Okay, so like, what are you doing in therapy? You're not going to get any better. You don't know that. Yeah, I do. You've been to therapy. Your friends have been to therapy. Your parents have been to therapy. No one got any better. What makes you think you're so special?
So I'm guessing you're having some doubts about therapy.
Yeah, let me finish. I'm not kidding. What I was going to say is that even if therapy doesn't have a great track record in my past or with people in my life, that's no reason not to give it a try. That's dumb. Parents are losers.
So I'm guessing you're having some doubts about therapy.
Yeah, you can say that.
What are you having doubts about?
I just told you.
So you've had negative experiences with therapy, and some people you know, such as your parents, your friends, have also had negative experiences.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can only really speak to my own experience and not anyone else's, and like, yeah, I have had negative experiences of therapy before.
Okay, can you tell me about it?
Yeah, I can do that. The last time I really tried going to therapy was when I was in high school. I wasn't getting good grades and I had a hard time focusing in class, so the school counselor sent me to a therapist. They diagnosed me with ADHD and gave me some meds and sent me on my way. I got better grades, but those meds really fucked me up long term. And like, they didn't even really solve the problem. When I tried to get out of them, I just got depressed and still had a hard time focusing.
What did you need at that time?
I guess what I really needed was just someone to listen to me.
Well, I'm here to listen to you. Are you still on the ADHD medications?
What about my emotions? Not gonna ask about those?
No, I need to know about your ADHD medications first.
I'm not on medication.
Why not?
Couldn't afford them.
So you just stopped or what?
Yeah, I aged off my parents' health insurance plan, so I knew I wasn't going to be able to get any more. So like the last 2 months, I cut them in half, and I think that was helpful. Like, it made the last 2 months.
Have you been self-medicating with anything since you stopped taking the ADHD medicine?
Wow, going right for the jugular, huh?
Look, self-medicating is a normal thing to do. Lots of people do it to cope with the stress of the world. I'm not interested in judging you or anyone else for self-medicating. It's what people do. The reason why I ask is so that we can be on the same page about what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
Is that helpful?
What do you mean? Is it helpful? Yeah, helpful.
How so?
I think being high is like going to a place, like when I smoke, it's like time stops and my worries just fade away. I feel like I'm drifting, floating up outside of myself to a place where I'm not so worried anymore.
See how that would be helpful. Sometimes I wish I could do this.
Okay, but you're gonna tell me I need to stop smoking, right? Like, isn't weed bad for me?
Bad is a strong word.
So, does that make it good for me?
Good.
So, what word would you use?
Well, it's your relationship with weed. What word or words would you use to describe it?
It's like, calming. I don't know.
How do you know it's something?
Well, I used to smoke it when I was hanging out with people, and sometimes I still do, but mostly I just smoke it alone. It helps me feel normal. It helps me feel like I have some sort of control over my situation.
So it sounds a little bit like weed helps regulate your mood.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay. So why do you need to regulate your mood?
I guess because I always get down on myself, and I'm also like working this like bullshit in a job that I'm picking up, and it's hard to do it. You know, it's like plus there's the ADHD.
It seems like you're reenacting a repetitive pattern.
What?
You're doing the same thing over and over.
What?
doing the same thing over and over.
Oh, no, yeah, I get it. Yeah, like, it's like when I'm constantly smoking weed in my life situation, it feels like it's stuck in the same place. It's like I'm doing the same thing over and over.
Getting into therapy is part one of that. So great job. You've already gotten started.
Is that detective business?
A lot of the time, people have already made the decision to change their patterns when they start therapy. It's how they get here. The therapy process can be thought of as accelerating and articulating the change process you've already started.
You sound like
Now, some of the work I do overlaps with motivational speakers, but the difference is we're developing a relationship. I'm not just shouting at you from the front of the room.
Most of the people I develop relationships with don't charge me $80 an hour.
A lot of them more. I try to do right by my clients, but I've got to eat too.
Yeah, you gotta eat. Feels like you're taking the food right out of my mouth.
These are the costs when you initially came in. You said you were fine with paying. Why bring it up now?
it just doesn't feel right. Like being vulnerable with someone I'm paying. Like, how am I supposed to work with you on stuff when I'm constantly worried about getting my money's worth?
Yeah. I can see how that could influence our relationship. How about this? I give you 2 sessions for free so we can get to know each other. After that, you can pay the $80 per session, and I can give you some referrals to some really good, really free support groups, or you can drop out altogether. No harm, no foul, okay?
That sounds like a really good deal to me.
You don't think you'll value therapy any less because it's free.
I think I'll value it more.
Why would you value it more?
I guess because if I'm not paying for therapy, there's like less pressure on me to get better.
I can see how it could be hard to be vulnerable when you're worried about getting your money's worth.
Yeah, like no offense, but I might not want to be vulnerable with you.
No, take it. You don't have to be vulnerable right away.
Isn't that a little weird though? You're just gonna give me 2 free sessions and you're not gonna do the same for everyone?
Trust me. I wish I could see all of my clients for free. That would be a lot more ethical than our current system.
Well, viva la revolution, right?
As a therapeutic professional, I can't publicly support revolution. I encourage you to live your truth.
By the time for revolution comes, I will be living my truth loudly.
A revolution doesn't happen overnight, though. How about some therapy in the meantime?
You got me there.